Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Okay, so today we're plunging into a truly fascinating topic, the hacker, as a modern mythological figure. Imagine them like the trickster god of the network. Or maybe Prometheus stealing that digital fire from servers. It's this character that really reflects our, deepest anxieties and aspirations about technology. And we're going to unpack all of that for you. Our mission today, it isn't just about listing cool movies. No, we're extracting the most important insights from this really comprehensive report. It's called Hack the Planet, a definitive report on the 20 most influential hacker films and TV shows. This deep dive, it's going to go beyond just popularity. We want you to understand how these stories evolved, why some became like cultural touchstones, and what they really tell us about our relationship with the digital world. So consider this your shortcut to being truly well-informed about this unique cinematic genre. We'll trace the cinematic evolution of the hacker. We'll explore the unique framework the report uses to evaluate these films. And then, we'll jump into some specific examples, uncovering why certain movies became huge despite maybe technical inaccuracies, while others got praised for surprising realism.
Yeah, and it's striking how the hacker figure really began. They were like curious pioneers. Remember those phone freaks? Just early digital explorers fiddling with telephone systems. But then as technology became truly ubiquitous, like everywhere, they transformed. Suddenly they're these world-altering figures, capable of maybe toppling economies or exposing huge state secrets. This whole trajectory, it reveals that the genre isn't just about computers. It's actually a powerful barometer for our hopes and our fears about the digital world that, well, underpins everything now.
A barometer. I like that. That's a powerful point.
Yeah.
Anxieties and aspirations.
Right.
So if the hacker reflects society, how has their on-screen persona shifted over the decades? The report breaks its evolution down really clearly, right?
Exactly. And it really prompts us to consider, how our perception of power in this digital age has changed. The report maps it out through several distinct archetypes. First, back in the 1980s, you had the innocent prodigy. Think David Lightman in WarGames.
Right, or even Ferris Bueller changing his grades.
Yeah, exactly. Often mischievous teens just driven by curiosity. Their power was kind of accidental, leading to these unintended, sometimes huge consequences. This reflects a society that was just beginning to grasp this immense digital power and maybe our own sort of innocence about what tech could unleash. Then you get the internet explosion in the 90s and we see the cyberpunk rebel.
Hackers era, neon and techno.
Totally. That was the countercultural icon reflecting this growing defiance against, corporate control and big systems. Hackers, the 95 film, it aestheticized this perfectly. Neon, leather, techno music, that whole hack the planet vibe. Lisbeth Salander, too, from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, she kind of fits this mold. Using tech for self-expression and defiance against a corrupt world. It taps into that anxiety about autonomy, about individual freedom. Then, as the internet commercialized, the archetype got more professional, the professional, the spy. This is late 90s, 2000s.
So hacking became a job or a weapon.
Pretty much. Hacking became a valuable commodity. It shifted from pure rebellion to, legitimate or illegitimate business. You see the ethical sneaker guys in sneakers testing systems.
Testers, yeah.
Right. Or the cyber criminal for hire, like in The Italian Job. And it definitely bled into the spy genre. State-level assets, like in Enemy of the State. The hacker went from outsider to insider, which reflects our growing reliance on digital infrastructure and the need to protect it or exploit it. Then the post-9/11 era, the Snowden revelations in the 2010s that gave us the whistleblower vigilante.
Things got darker, more political.
Definitely. The hacker narrative grew much darker, reflecting this deep societal anxiety about surveillance, government overreach. Figures like Julian Assange, in the Fifth Estate, or Edward Snowden himself in Snowden. Fictional characters, too, like in Person of Interest or Mr. Robot. Hacking became this profound political, moral act, a struggle between privacy and security. And finally, the latest evolution, kind of late 2010s to now, is what the report calls the philosopher god.
Whoa, okay. What does that mean?
This archetype pushes the boundaries. It explores systems that can predict or even control reality itself. Think Devs, or the later seasons of Person of Interest. They delve into free will, determinism, the nature of consciousness. It's not just hacking systems or societies anymore. It's about hacking the fabric of existence.
Wow.
Yeah, it reflects this really profound anxiety about human agency. Like, what does it mean to be human if everything's predictable or controllable?
That is a truly remarkable progression. It really makes you think about how our fears, our hopes, have just transformed alongside the tech itself. Now, this report, it doesn't just list favorites, right? It uses this really interesting kind of multifaceted framework to define best or most known
4 key pillars, you said.
Yeah, and that's one of the real strengths of the report, how it manages to synthesize, subjective quality with objective influence. These pillars allow for a much more nuanced evaluation. It goes beyond just was it popular or was the tech right. So first, there's cinematic merit. Basically, is it a fundamentally good film or TV show on its own terms?
Right, the basics. Direction, writing, acting, is it entertaining?
Exactly. Does it work as a story, regardless of the hacking stuff? Second, technical realism. How authentic is the hacking? The techniques, the tools, the jargon? And the report is smart about it. It distinguishes between what's genuinely real, like using Kali, Linux, or social engineering, and what's, stylized for drama. It also considers why filmmakers made those choices. Sometimes accuracy gets sacrificed for the plot or appeal.
Okay, that makes sense.
Third is cultural impact. This measures the work's influence beyond just the screen itself.
Like, did it change how people thought about hacking?
Precisely. Did it affect public perception? Did it influence actual legislation? Did the hacker subculture adopt it? Did it influence other movies or shows? Did it spark trends? And finally, Pillar 4, thematic depth. This looks at how deeply the work engages with the big ideas.
Surveillance, privacy.
Yeah, surveillance, privacy, identity, corporate power, how reality is filtered through technology now. Does the film actually have something significant to say about our digital age?
Okay, so understanding those 4 pillars, I'm really curious now. Looking at the report's actual rankings, which films or shows really nail these different criteria? What were some of the maybe surprising insights the report pulled out?
Oh, it's genuinely fascinating. The genre is so diverse, and different works totally excel in different pillars, sometimes in really unexpected ways. Let's start with WarGames. It's ranked number 2. This 1983 film, it's really the foundational text for the whole genre.
Sort of classic.
Absolutely. And it was remarkably realistic for its time. It even coined the term war dialing that came from the movie. But here's where it gets incredible. There was a private screening for President Ronald Reagan, and afterwards he famously asked his advisors, could this happen?
Seriously? Reagan asked that?
Seriously. And that question led directly to a major review of U.S. military computer security. It ultimately spurred the passage of the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act in 1984.
Wow. So a movie literally influenced national security policy and law.
Exactly. Think about that cultural impact. It inspired a generation of hackers, cybersecurity pros, and changed legislation. Foundational is an understatement. Okay, now jump way down to number 19. We've got The Net from 1995.
Sandra Bullock ordering pizza online looks ancient now.
Oh, totally. The technical execution is, laughably dated, as the report puts it. The interfaces, how fast things happen, pure fantasy. But its conceptual realism was remarkably prescient. It tapped into real fears about digital identity manipulation, identity theft, long before that was a common worry for most people.
So it got the idea right, even if the visuals are off.
Exactly. It captured that internet paranoia for a mass audience, showed a vulnerability people hadn't even really considered back then. Then there's Sneakers, ranked number 4. A masterfully crafted film from 92.
Ah, love Sneakers. My voice is my passport.
Such a great line. And it's widely lauded for its realistic portrayal of hacking, especially focusing on social engineering, the human element being the weak link. It introduced mainstream audiences to ethical hacking penetration testing and eerily predicted mass surveillance. Its central idea, the world isn't run by weapons anymore. It's all about the information. I mean, how prophetic is that? Almost chillingly accurate now.
Yeah, incredibly so.
Okay, then Hackers at number 3, the 1995 cult classic. This one's a total paradox.
How so? Looks pretty unrealistic visually.
Oh, absolutely. It's visual depiction of cyberspace, flying through glowing data cities. It's famously and intentionally inaccurate. It's pure psychedelic metaphor. However, it gets praised by real hackers for surprising authenticity in other ways. It accurately portrays social engineering, phone phreaking. Crucially, that distinct hacker community with its own code, its own ethics, that camaraderie, it absolutely defined the 90s cyberpunk subculture and its whole anti-establishment spirit.
So culturally huge, even if the graphics were fantastical.
Yeah, definitely. It captured the vibe. Moving into more modern stuff. Black Mirror, number 5. An anthology series that just nails conceptual realism.
Right. Less about the how and more about the what if.
Exactly. It doesn't usually focus on procedural accuracy. Instead, it takes current tech trends and extrapolates them to their logical and often terrifying conclusions. I mean, the phrase so Black Mirror is basically part of the language now. That shows its cultural impact.
For sure.
And episodes like Shut Up and Dance, they show really realistic stuff like blackmail via hacked webcams, and it just taps into our deepest anxieties about where tech is taking us. But the undisputed gold standard for technical accuracy, according to the report, that's Mr. Robot, number
Yeah.
one.
I've heard that. People rave about its realism.
They should. Nearly every single hack shown is plausible. They use real-world tools like Kali Linux, legitimate scripts. It completely reset the bar for how hacking is portrayed on screen. And beyond the tech, it really tapped into those post-recession anxieties, corporate power, mental health. It made it a show not just about hacking systems, but about trying to hack society itself.
The deep stuff.
And one more recent one, Devs at number 14, from 2020. This series pushes the genre into really deep philosophical territory.
The philosopher god thing again.
Exactly. It explores a quantum computer that can basically predict the future. It challenges free will, determinism. It really represents that idea of hacking reality itself, taking digital manipulation to its ultimate kind of existential conclusion.
It's just astounding how these stories have evolved. But, that raises a really fundamental question. How do filmmakers even show this stuff? I mean, the actual act of coding, manipulating data, it's inherently internal, kind of static visually, not exactly thrilling cinema on its own. How have they solved that problem over the years?
That's an excellent point. It's a huge creative challenge. How do you depict something that's largely invisible? Filmmakers have basically developed several distinct visual languages to tackle this. First, there's what you could call the abstract metaphor.
Like Tron.
Exactly like Tron. Back in '82, turning computers into this physical gladiatorial arena. Hackers did it too, with that psychedelic 3D cityscape you could fly through. And The Matrix, of course, perfected it with the iconic digital rain, turning hacking into literally bending the rules of reality. This approach, it sacrifices realism, but it's all about aesthetic and thematic resonance, making the invisible feel tangible, creating a mythology for it. Then you have the most common one, probably the most mocked, the Hollywood OS.
Ah, yes. Furious typing, green code scrolling, access granted.
That's the one. It's the cinematic shorthand. Furious typing, meaningless green or blue code flying by, multiple windows popping up, maybe a progress bar filling really fast. And the inevitable access granted flashing on screen. You see it everywhere. Live free or die hard, the net. It's visually dynamic, gets the point across quickly, but it's technically nonsensical. Designed purely for dramatic effect, prioritizing pace over plausibility. Then, in total contrast, you've got the grounded realism.
Like Mr. Robot and Sneakers you mentioned?
Exactly. Works like Mr. Robot, Sneakers, even Michael Mann's Black Hat from 2015, they make a conscious choice to show what a real hacker actually sees. Command line interfaces, actual code snippets, real software tools being used. The drama here comes from the process itself, the tension, and the real-world consequences of those commands. It's less flashy, sure, but it raises the genre's credibility massively. It treats the subject, and frankly the audience, with respect by not dumbing it down. And finally, there's another style, the surveillance POV.
Okay, how does that work?
This style is really prominent in films like Enemy of the State back in '98, and it was perfected, I think, in the show Person of Interest. It visualizes the world through the eyes of the machine itself. The screen fills up with feeds from CCTV cameras, satellite images, facial recognition software, all overlaid with processing data, threat assessments.
So you're seeing like the system sees.
Exactly. It's not really about hacking into a system anymore. It's about experiencing a system that is constantly hacking you. It immerses you in this world where there are basically no secrets. It's the visual language of pervasive digital monitoring.
Wow. Okay, so we've journeyed through, 4 decades of hacker films and TV shows. We've seen how they've consistently reflected society's hopes and, maybe more often, its fears about technology. From those innocent prodigies just exploring a new digital frontier, all the way to these philosopher gods trying to manipulate reality itself. The hacker archetype, it seems, is always about power, isn't it? It's the individual challenging some overwhelming force, usually with just intellect and a deep understanding of the system's own rules. It's that timeless narrative, the underdog David facing Goliath, but maybe with a keyboard instead of a slingshot.
Absolutely, and I think the enduring appeal of these stories lies right there in that fundamental human desire to question authority, to expose hidden truths, maybe even just understand the complex systems that control our lives. And as we look ahead, the hacker genre is, it's already evolving again. It's getting ready to confront the next frontier of technological disruption.
Right, and this brings us to what the report projects for the next evolution of these stories. Where does it go from here?
Well, it suggests the next wave of hacker narratives will likely move beyond just data theft and privacy concerns, as central as those are. They'll probably contend with things like sentient AIs, maybe fight to preserve human agency in a world run by predictive algorithms, or even attempt to, hack the code of consciousness itself.
Oh,
Yeah, the conflict seems to be escalating. From the geopolitical to the existential, it's challenging our very definition of reality.
so as technology just keeps relentlessly advancing, what new forms of hacking, whether it's, hacking systems, hacking society, or maybe even hacking reality itself, are we going to see emerge? And what does that mean for, like, the ghost in the machine that seems to be becoming a god? What stands out to you, listening right now, as the next great frontier for these stories? And what new anxieties do you think they might tap into? Something to think about.